A 15-year-old rape case involving a self-styled Indian Godman has brought two North Indian states of Haryana and Punjab to a virtual halt. In the latest, Ram Rahim's convoy is expected to reach Panchkula Court very soon. Haryana High Court has approved the use of security forces if necessary. Haryana High Court has also allowed only 5 cars of the convoy inside of the court premises. The hearing on the rape case is underway in a local court in Panchkula. The controversial leader of the Dera Sauda sect, Gurmeet Ram Rahim, has been asked to be present in court at 2:30 p.m. Security around the court complex in Panchkula further is beefed up. Haryana IG K.K. Rao has said that no unauthorized person will be allowed access inside of the court in Panchkula. Now, Ram Rahim followers in Sirsa and Panchkula have tried to block his convoy and laid down on the road in order to prevent it from proceeding any further. Few even fainted earlier as Ram Rahim's convoy passed through Sirsa. Entire Chandigarh and Panchkula is under lockdown. Ram Rahim's followers, in fact, they are refusing to leave from Panchkula, even as commuters and train passengers are facing a problem.
हाँ, उम्मीद है कि सच्चाई की जीत होगी। हमें विश्वास है हमारे गुरु जी की जीत होगी।
इस तरह होएगा कट होएगा या फिर तो हो जाएगा इस तरह ही।
क्या होगा?
तो बस वो मालक बिच्ची कर देवे सच्चा। जो सच्चाई हो सच्चाई तो हो ही जानी है।
और पूज्य गुरु जी ने स्पष्ट तौर पे कहा है कि हमें न्यायिक प्रक्रिया पर पूरा भरोसा है और हमें भी विश्वास है कि वो दिन आना ही था जब सच का सूरज झूठ के बादलों को चीरकर बाहर निकलेगा।
मेरी 10:30 बजे की यहाँ से ट्रेन थी। कौन सी? पश्चिम एक्सप्रेस। तो कैंसिल कर दी, कैंसिल हो गई। और अब दूसरी कोई ट्रेन अभी मिली है, वो पता नहीं जाएगी कि नहीं जाएगी।
हम सुबह 8 बजे से वेट कर रहे हैं।
तो बाकी ट्रेनें कैंसिल हो चुकी हैं?
हाँ जी, सभी ट्रेनें कैंसिल हो चुकी है। अभी सिर्फ एक जाने वाली है, उसका पता नहीं है या नहीं है। वैसे ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए।
सुबह से कर रहे हैं 8 बजे
से वेट कर रहे हैं। सर क्या कुछ दिक्कतों का सामना करना पड़ रहा है?
बस ट्रेन की उड़ीक कर रहे हैं, जो उड़ीकते हैं वो कैंसिल हो जाती है।
Also, Home Minister Rajnath Singh, he spoke to Haryana's Chief Minister M.L. Khattar over the security arrangements and the law and order situation across the state. Meanwhile, 167 companies of central forces have been deployed in Haryana and Punjab, and Section 144 has been imposed in Hanumangarh. The army has been put on standby in Panchkula. Mobile internet and data services have been blocked as authorities brace for the verdict in the rape case against Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh. Schools and colleges, offices, boards, corporations, agencies and public sector organizations have been shut in Punjab. In a late-night appeal, Indian Godman Ram Rahim appealed to his followers to maintain peace and calm and to go back to their homes.
पहले भी शांति बनाए रखने के लिए कहा था। मैं पंचकुला जाने के लिए मना किया था। जो भी डेरा प्रेमी पंचकुला गए हैं, कृपया वो वापस अपने घर चले जाएं। फैसला मैंने सुना है, मैं स्वयं जाकर फैसला सुनूंगा। हम सबको कानून का सम्मान करना चाहिए।
It's interesting to note that Dera Sauda is a very old religious sect formed in 1948 in Balochistan and has been popular among lower caste religious followers who often felt ostracized by higher castes in both Haryana and Punjab. Dera followers claim that Dera Sauda instilled in them a feeling of being accepted. One of the reasons why self-styled Godman is enjoying such massive support.
If the judgment is pronounced, it is a really good example that, okay, fine, Godmen are not spared, or people in high places are not spared. It is that way a good sign. But also, there is this element of doubt, since so many devotees are doubting it. Maybe there is also an angle to it. But I am also looking forward to this judgment. And I hope that judgments do not take such a hugely long time.
तो किसके अनुमति से हो रहा है? क्या राज्य और केंद्र सरकार दोनों मिलके इस आदमी के इतने सहूलत उनको पहुंचा रहे हैं? ये दोनों सरकार गिल्टी है मेरे नजरों में।
ऐसा है कि वहाँ सरकार है, उसकी जिम्मेदारी है। 125 करोड़ का देश है, तो उसमें जो भी भीड़ आई है, भाई मेरा यकीन है, विश्वास है कि वो हरियाणा की सरकार आपकी ये पंजाब पंचकुला मेरे ख्याल से हरियाणा में आता है, तो हरियाणा की सरकार देखेगी उसको।
Well, this is something unheard of. I am afraid. Why was the government sleeping for the last 2-3 weeks? They could have made arrangements much before, and they could have applied 144 in the best interest of maintenance of law and order. They could have done it. There is a provision in law, and if the process of law is obstructed, I am afraid the government does not deserve to continue in office.
A high-level meeting should have been held and clear directions given from the highest quarters. That look, we don't want this to happen. We don't want 2 lakh people to congregate in Panchkula and sort of hold the administration to ransom. Stop them on the way, en route, intercept them, and and if necessary, and if they can't be intercepted en route, then you stop them on the borders of the capital region.
Because when a crowd becomes a mob, nobody can prevent that. You have allowed a thing to precipitate in a manner that tomorrow Haryana is sitting on a volcano with so many people who have collected together. Anything is possible. Now the time has come to take strong legal action as per the rule book, as per the drill manual, as per the police manual, and as per the CRPC.
All right. In fact, Mohammed Saleh, WION's correspondent, joins me live from the newsroom at this point. Mohammed, the verdict is expected shortly. We're hearing 2:30 is the time when Ram Rahim will reach the courts over there in Panchkula, and the verdict is also expected any time after that. Give us a sense of what exactly can one expect today, given the fact that security has been a huge challenge for the state.
That's exactly correct, Sarana. The verdict is to be read out at 2:30 p.m. So Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh has been asked to be present physically there at the time when the verdict is read out. Remember, this is a case which pertains to an incident that took place way back in 2002. The investigation started in 2007. In 2002, the manner in which the woman, who is the aggrieved party in this case, came out and said that, look, I have been raped, and I have no other way of going out and making a complaint rather than by writing to the then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, because that is how she went out and made this complaint, where she wrote a letter to Atal Bihari Vajpayee saying that she was raped and a lot of other women who are also a part of the Dera Sacha Sauda had also been subject to a similar kind of sexual assault. And it is after that that the Punjab and Haryana court had taken sumo to cognizance of this and had ordered the CBI to launch an investigation. Now, the CBI started investigations in 2007, and it is this trial which has now reached its conclusion, and we expect a verdict in a few minutes' time from now. But the manner in which the entire issue has been handled by the governments of Punjab and Haryana, Sana, is effectively a textbook example of how not to let a situation precipitate into what this is now turned into. Now, it's being said that in Panchkula, anywhere from 1 to 2 lakh people have congregated. Ideally, these people should not have been allowed to congregate in Panchkula. Now, what is also being said is that Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh has gone there with a convoy. Now, the government has said that he can bring a convoy of about 5 of his vehicles. Now, each of these vehicles is full of people with his militia who are armed, and these are people who are camping around the Panchkula Special CBI Court, where this verdict will be given. It's a very, very difficult situation that we expect that is unfolding in Panchkula. It's unfortunate that a situation of this nature has come to this pass, because the fact of the matter is, this is a straightforward case. A complaint was made, an investigation has been done. Right. Ideally, the verdict should have been now given, but now it's turning out into a theatre of absurd, where you have these 2 lakh people, these supporters of Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh, camping outside of the court and virtually threatening the court.
And the situation, Mohammed, as we understand, could turn volatile depending on what the verdict is. Situation could get out of hand and violent as well, and perhaps that's why the Punjab and Haryana High Court have authorized security forces to use force if, the situation comes to that.
That's exactly correct. Now, the Haryana administration has said that force can be used. But this is how Ram Rahim has dealt with other cases in the past. Now, this is not the first case that he's facing. Remember, he's also someone who's charged with 2 instances of murder. He's also someone who was charged with a case where allegations were made that 400 of his followers were subjected to forced castration. And also in the year 2007, he had gone out wearing a certain form of a dress that was reminiscent of what the 10th Sikh Guru had worn, and that had also resulted in a lot of disturbance, resulting in violence in the states of Punjab, Haryana and also Jammu and Kashmir. So it is a very volatile situation. We don't quite know as to what will happen. Now, Gurmeet Ram Rahim, yesterday night, he gave out this appeal to his supporters that they should not have congregated in Panchkula. But the fact of the matter, Sana, is he's the one who's calling the shots, because if he did not want it, his supporters would not be present there. Earlier in the day, it was being said that he was going to make a very dramatic entry to the Panchkula court premises in a helicopter. Can you believe that? And it is later that he decided to perhaps go with his convoy. And now, the administration has said that he can bring in 5 vehicles in his convoy. And all of these people are parked right in front of the court premises. And they are all armed, is what we've been given to understand. It's an extremely volatile situation that is unfolding. The verdict may go against him because the evidence is very strong. So we don't quite know as to what will happen. But this is not how someone who calls himself a spiritual guru, a godman, needs to behave. This is a criminal case. And it's a sad state of criminal law justice in India, where, these self-styled godmen in India are able to take the law and order and hold an entire state, 2 states in this case, to ransom.
Absolutely, and we've, this isn't the first time, unfortunately, that we've seen the situation go out of control, out of hand. I mean, if you take an example of other self-styled godmen in the country, we've had similar situations, Saleh. But speaking of Punjab and Haryana, both states on the edge, give us a sense of what sort of security apparatus has been put in place ahead of the verdict. We're hearing of mobile services being suspended and 150 companies of paramilitary forces deployed. Several trains which run through the state, they've been cancelled as well.
That is correct, Sana. Now, we just heard a little while back some of the former retired DGs of states who came out and said that the manner in which this entire situation has been allowed to precipitate into this, is a classic textbook example of how not to let a crisis precipitate. Now, 50,000 police personnel have been posted at Panchkula. 15,000 paramilitary is there. And also we are given to understand that the army has been asked to be on standby. Imagine this, army is being asked to be on standby because that is the kind of trouble that we are actually expecting. And also the Punjab and Haryana court has said that it is important that the administration ensures that the situation does not precipitate into what happened in the case of, a Gujar agitation where about 30 lives were lost in the state of Haryana. The supporters of Gurmeet Ram Rahim, they are saying that all of this is nothing but a conspiracy to defame and malign their godman. They believe that he's innocent, and this trial is nothing but farcical, is what has been said by the supporters of Gurmeet Ram Rahim. But at this point of time, we expect the verdict to be read out any time in the next few minutes. It remains to be seen as to how this entire thing will play out. Now, is it going to be a triumph of justice, or will the mob hold 2 states and also the judiciary to ransom, is what needs to be seen, Sana.
Absolutely. In fact, on the left of your screens, these are live visuals coming to you from outside of the Panchkula court. This is where this crucial verdict will be announced by Special CBI Judge Jagdeep Singh, in fact, in this rape case that was filed against Dera Sacha Sauda head Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh. And on the right side, you can see a sense of the kind of cavalcade of the cars of supporters of the self-styled Godmen who have been in Punjab and Haryana, trying to lend their support to who they consider as their leader, Gurmeet Ram Rahim. Live visuals from outside of the court. We are expecting the verdict to be announced sometime post 2:30 p.m., which is in about 15 to 20 minutes away now. And hundreds and thousands of supporters have been flocking to Punjab and Haryana over the past couple of days to lend their support to Gurmeet Ram Rahim. Now, as Saleh was pointing out just a short while ago, how the states of Punjab and Haryana have been on the edge, mobile services have been suspended, and 15,000 paramilitary forces have been deployed. More than 20 trains which run through Punjab and Haryana, they've been cancelled, and 2 stadiums in the Sirsa district, that's where the headquarters of Dera are, and that's in Haryana. They've been converted into special jails, that's what we're hearing, and all of this being done because Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh, who's the chief of Dera the religious sect of the Sikhs, is headed to the Panchkula Court to be present at the time when the verdict in a rape case will be announced. The rape case pertains to the year 2002, and this is a crucial verdict. And also important to point out, this isn't the first time that the court appearances and imminent arrest of a self-styled Godman has triggered a tense situation like this. We've seen it in the past as well, in 2014 with the arrest of Jagat Guru Rampal Ji, who's also known as Sant Rampal, who's the founder of another sect called the Kabir Panth. That time a row was triggered as well, and we've seen similar situations unfold in the country where situation tends to get violent in case the self-styled Godman, it comes to cases pertaining to these. Now, security has been beefed up. Mohammed Saleh is standing by live with us to give us a sense of what really can be expected. Saleh, this is in fact a big story, and we are getting those live visuals. I mean, look at the kind of support that he enjoys, and that's proved to be one of the biggest challenges. We've seen this, previously as well.
That is correct as well, Sanan. And let's also give to our viewers a bit of a background of this Dera Sacha Sauda. What is this sect all about? It started off in 1948 in Balochistan, what is in present-day Pakistan, and it is from there that this sect originated. Gurmeet Ram Rahim is someone who's said to have taken over the sect during the years 1990 to 1991. And also remember, this person is not your regular Baba who wears saffron robes or green robes. He is a person of a different ilk altogether. He's also been known as Baba with the bling, considering the kind of movies that he's done, the Messenger of God, part 1, part 2, part 3 movies that he's come out with. He's also a sort of a pop star who comes out and churns out his music as well. Now, one of the reasons as to why he attracts such a huge gathering, his website claims that they are supported and have active members who total up to 6 crore people in the states of Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. And one of the reasons as to why a lot of people say that he attracts such a huge amount of support amongst the people is essentially because his supporters are drawn from the lower castes. The lower castes who are ostracized in society, who face a lot of liabilities in the caste system which persists. They are given a certain semblance of fraternity, a certain equality within his Dera. Now, Dera Sacha Sauda directly translates as the place of truth. He also carries out some charitable activities such as blood donations, etc. These are certain charitable organizations that he also runs, which gives him a certain semblance of, as someone who also...
अदालत का निर्णय कुछ भी हो, हम उसे लागू करेंगे. निर्णय आने के बाद जो भी परिस्थितियां उत्पन्न हो सकती हैं, उनसे निपटने के लिए हर संभव तैयारी कर ली गई है. मैं प्रदेशवासियों, खासकर डेरा प्रेमियों से अपील करता हूं कि शांति एवं सौहार्द बनाए रखें.
All right, that's the message coming in from the Chief Minister there, who is assuring that all security measures have been put in place. This is very important, as we've been talking about, because Saleh, as you were talking about why the Dera Sacha Sauda is important and the significance and why Gurmeet Ram Rahim has so many followers, the matter of concern at this point is security, and there have been reports that Dera followers had been stocking up on petrol and arms as well ahead of the verdict, and that is serious.
That's exactly correct. You know, when Manohar Lal Khattar, the Haryana Chief Minister, comes out and says that no matter what the verdict of the court is, we will go ahead and implement the verdict. You know, this assurance sounds so hollow because it was very clear leading up to this date of verdict. Because remember, the fact that he was guilty was pronounced much earlier.
अदालत का निर्णय कुछ भी हो, हम उसे लागू करेंगे। निर्णय आने के बाद जो भी परिस्थितियां उत्पन्न हो सकती हैं, उनसे निपटने के लिए हर संभव तैयारी कर ली गई है। मैं प्रदेशवासियों, खासकर डेरा प्रेमियों से अपील करता हूं कि शांति एवं सौहार्द बनाए रखें।
Up to this is what is important. This is where the complete lack of preparedness of the state administration just shines through, if one could so put it. Because what was happening over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, there were people, the premis as the followers of this particular sect are known, they were congregating in Panchkula. This is a special CBI court that has been organized, which is to give out its verdict. If the government had wanted to, diffuse this crisis, ideally, they should have done 3 weeks ago what they've done in the last 24 hours. In the last 24 hours, they've imposed Section 144. They've said no one will be allowed to enter into Panchkula. Ideally, all of this should have happened in the last 3-4 weeks from the time that it was made evident that the verdict will, of course, be given out today. Now, the government is saying that they have done everything possible. What they've done is they have beefed up the security presence. But how do you take on an armed militia? We saw the kind of support that this man actually enjoys. Those huge, convoy of cars which are coming through. This is not the convoy that he's traveling in, but the amount of supporters who are pouring into Panchkula. 2 of the stadiums have been given over to these supporters, where the administration is now saying that this is a form of a makeshift prison in which the supporters of Dera Sacha Sauda are going to be detained. And it's shocking the scale at which this entire, drama is playing out. Because the fact of the matter is, this man is an accused. The court is pronouncing its verdict. Ideally, common sense would say that that has to be accepted. But what we are seeing is that there is this armed militia that is camping outside of this court, virtually challenging the authority and legitimacy of this court, which people say is not even legitimate because the Godman, they believe, is innocent anyway. And all of this is nothing but a campaign to malign the Godman that they believe is just innocent in this case. So a complete, farce being played out. And also let's point out to certain other interesting things. Remember, Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh is not just a Godman, he's also fiddled with politics in the past. He is someone who's lent his support to the Congress party in the past. He's also lent his support to the BJP and the Akalis as well. So both in Haryana and Punjab, either ways, whichever political spectrum that you look at, he's someone who's extremely well connected. He's seen to be someone who's also close to the BJP, the present dispensation, which is operating both at the state and also in the centre. He's a very powerful man, but the fact of the matter is, the state has to be supreme, the judiciary has to be respected, and now we're seeing a test of that. The court is expected to pronounce its verdict in a few minutes from now. The complete farce that is playing out, armed militia sitting in front of a court as the court pronounces its verdict, this is almost unprecedented.
Absolutely. Mohammed Saleh, just hold on to that thought. Let's just, for the viewers who are just tuning in, those are scenes from outside of the Panchkula court. And the latest is that Gurmeet Ram Rahim, the self-styled Godman, has reached the Panchkula court, and the verdict is expected anytime post 2:30 p.m. And that's the kind of security apparatus that has been set up. This is, of course, just only a glimpse of the security outside of the court. There are thousands, at least 15,000 paramilitary forces that have been deployed across Punjab and Haryana to brace for a reaction that may follow, which could be violent after the verdict, because we've heard statements from the followers of the self-styled Godman. Section 144 has been imposed in various places due to this verdict, and he reached Chandigarh earlier, and now we are hearing that he has reached along with 2 cars only. That's what we're hearing now in the latest, that only 2 cars in Ram Rahim's cavalcade will be allowed to enter the court premises. And the High Court yesterday had reprimanded the Haryana government for laxity in dealing with the situation. So the state is completely prepped up for any situation that may arise post the verdict. Hydraulic cranes have been deployed at the Panchkula court. Helicopters have been deployed for surveillance, and the Panchkula administration also plans to press drones, as last reports came into service for the surveillance before the court proceedings start. And about more than 1 lakh supporters, some reports say about 2 lakh supporters have gathered in Punjab and Haryana before the verdict, ahead of the verdict. That's the kind of support that we are talking about. We also heard in a late night video message, Baba Ram Rahim, he was giving out a message to all of his supporters to remain calm. But on the ground, the situation is very hectic. The situation is tense, and the verdict can be expected in just a few minutes from now. A massive support that the self-styled Godman enjoys, and one of the reasons why he is so popular is because he emphasizes on equality and humility in Punjab and Haryana. Now, these are the states where caste divisions are deeply entrenched in the society, and Dera Sacha Sauda, one of its promises is to bring about a caste-free society, and therefore he has so many followers. He's also said to be offering subsidized food and medicines to his followers who come from unprivileged background. Saleh, what we see on your screens is exactly the situation. The security which has been set up to control these crowds which run into thousands and thousands, to make sure that the situation doesn't get out of hand.
That's exactly correct, Sana. Now, a little while back we heard one of the DRGs who said that, when you allow a crowd to turn into a mob, it is difficult to predict as to what this mob will now go on to do. Because what the Haryana government has been doing in the last 24, 48 hours, if only they had shown the good presence of mind to try and prepare for this 2-3 weeks in advance, then this situation would not have come to pass. Because virtually what is now happening is these people who believe Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh is innocent. They believe that he's not just a human being, but more than a human being and an incarnation of some divinity. They honestly are under the impression that all of this is nothing but a conspiracy to malign their revered Godman. Now, the fact of the matter is, what is being challenged is essentially the authority of the court. Imagine the plight of the judge who's sitting inside the Panchkula court, knowing full well that even if only 2 of the cars of the cavalcade of Ram Rahim are allowed to enter into the court premises, the fact of the matter is the supporters of Ram Rahim have completely surrounded the Panchkula court premises. We also saw visuals of these guys being armed with lathis, stones, machetes. This is serious stuff. What we are seeing play out is almost unprecedented, where, I cannot think of another similar instance. The previous instance that you were referring to, the Godman was lodged inside of his fortress, inside of his ashram. The police had to go and arrest him, and that is where his supporters had tried to convert that into a form of a fortress, and then had a sort of a battle with the police. But what we are now seeing is a court premises that has been besieged, surrounded by the surrounders, by the supporters of the Dera Sacha Sauda, virtually challenging the autonomy and the independence of the judiciary. Can you imagine what the judge must be going through here, where he has to pronounce his verdict? An adverse verdict is expected to, it's difficult to predict as to what would happen here.
Absolutely. What we know is that two states are on the edge, and this is perhaps the biggest story that emerges out of the country today. All eyes on that crucial verdict that will be out. Remember, this is an old case, about 15 years old, in which this verdict is expected. The case relates to rape, and it was filed by two women who were Gurmeet Ram Rahim's followers at the time. A lot of other charges have been pressed against him as well over the years, and it is really tense, the situation as we speak. Now, what we do know is that Gurmeet Ram Rahim, he has arrived at the Panchkula court. It's a special CBI court that's been set up, and a verdict is expected shortly, and all his supporters are eagerly waiting. This could go any which way, the situation, depending on the verdict, and in case it is an adverse verdict, then the situation could get violent, and it'll be a challenge then for the security forces, for the state. We just heard the Chief Minister M.L. Khattar of Haryana address media persons a short while ago, saying that the state is prepared to tackle any situation, any eventuality, and whatever the verdict may be, everything will be taken care of, everything will be under control. Now, Gurmeet Ram Rahim, as we've been talking about, he's a powerful, self-styled Godman, and we've seen similar situations, the kind of following that he has even in the past, but he is different. He is somebody who has been in the limelight. Let's listen into what the Chief Minister said a short while ago, M.L. Khattar.
पंचकुला स्थित सीबीआई न्यायालय में पेशी को लेकर के हमने पूरे प्रदेश में कड़े सुरक्षा प्रबंध किए हैं। अदालत का निर्णय कुछ भी हो, हम उसे लागू करेंगे। निर्णय आने के बाद जो भी परिस्थितियां उत्पन्न हो सकती हैं, उनसे निपटने के लिए हर संभव तैयारी कर ली गई है। मैं प्रदेशवासियों, खासकर डेरा प्रेमियों से अपील करता हूं कि शांति एवं सौहार्द बनाए रखें।
All right, that was Haryana's Chief Minister M.L. Khattar giving out a message. We're talking about Gurmeet Ram Rahim. He is not only a self-styled Godman, but he calls himself a spiritual saint, philanthropist, versatile singer, film director, actor, and he has followers across the country, not just the states of Punjab and Haryana, and all those supporters seem to be converging at as close to Panchkula as possible. Two stadiums have been turned into virtual jails at this point in time. He has massive following, but what we're hearing is that only 2 cars from his cavalcade have been allowed inside of the court premises, and the verdict is expected any time now. 2:30 p.m. we last heard that the verdict will be announced and the proceedings will commence in this particular case, and we'll really have to wait and watch what that will be. We're getting you minute-to-minute updates here at WION, and once again his followers, which are into thousands and many more, they have been camping in and around Panchkula ahead of the verdict in a rape and a criminal intimidation case. He is the head of the Dera Sauda, headquartered in Sirsa, and he holds a sway really over millions across the states of Haryana, Punjab, and even Rajasthan. Mohammed Saleh is standing by to give us more updates on the developments. Saleh, as we wait for the verdict, give us a sense of how the states have been bracing up for this verdict, and even after all the efforts, the situation could go either way depending on the verdict. Is everything under control? Are we to believe what the Chief Minister is saying? Because if past is anything to go by, these situations are very tricky.
That's exactly correct, Sana. There are 2 ways in which this entire thing will play out. The fact of the matter is, the head of the state administration is coming out and saying that everything is in control. So let's, for the time being, believe what Manohar Lal Khattar is saying. But if you were to lead up to this entire situation where, Panchkula is entirely turned into what one can, say is almost like a keg of powder which could erupt if the verdict were to go against Gurmeet Ram Rahim. Now, the fact of the matter is, over the last 3-4 weeks, there were people who were coming from different villages, from small towns, who were congregating around Panchkula immediately after it was made known that today was the day when verdict in a special CBI court will be given in the Panchkula court premises. It is here that the governments both in Punjab and Haryana have completely failed to recognize as to how this situation would spiral out into something which they may not be able to handle very easily. Because at the end of the day, it is all about crowd management. At the end of the day, it is about predicting as to how a crowd would react or how a Godman's followers in this case will react. And also, if we can give a bit of a background as to the case here, Sana. You know, the case dates back to 2002, where a woman wrote anonymously to the then Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee saying that sexual assault of women devotees was rampant in this particular sect. She said that she herself had been raped by the Godman, but there was no avenue in which she could actually go and file a complaint because, one, they would not believe her, and second, the guru, that is Baba Ram Rahim, was so powerful that, you know, it would be impossible for her to come out and speak freely about this. Now, this was a complaint that was written in the form of a letter to the Prime Minister, which was taken cognizance of by the Haryana and Punjab High Court, after which the CBI was asked to investigate. Now, when CBI started questioning people, they are reported to have questioned as many as 18 women, and one of the women, during the course of questioning, reportedly said that I was raped by this Godman, but I do not wish to lodge a complaint because I have been spiritually cleansed by this act of sexual assault by this Baba. So you can imagine the kind of, one, fear that these people have, and second, the gullibility and the credulity and also the superstition which these people are filled with. You know, it's an extremely dangerous situation. We expect the verdict to be read out any minute now. It's taken 10 years of investigation for this particular case to reach this point. And what happens after this is anyone's guess, because it is a very tough situation. The administration can now say that they've got about 50,000 police personnel who are on standby. They've got about 15,000 paramilitary, that is the CRPF and the other auxiliary security personnel who are also there. And you also have the army, which has been requested to be on the standby to move in if things were to go out of control. Right. What we also know for a fact is that these supporters of Baba Ram Rahim, they are armed with lathis, they are armed with, you know, a variety of other things as well. But at this point of time, it's a very volatile situation if the verdict were to go against Baba Ram Rahim.
Absolutely. And Saleh, you know, what's disturbing is the lack of preparedness, as you've been pointing out, you know, right from the start. You know, this case is not a standalone case when the state administration has had to deal. In fact, in the past 3 years, since the BJP government has taken over in Haryana, we've seen at least 2 cases. We're talking about Godman Rampal, in which at least 6 people were killed. And then we had the case of the Jat agitation, in which 30 people were killed. Now, in both these cases, just like this one, you know, they've been handled in exactly the same way. First, the police has been called in, protesters have been allowed to gather in large numbers, and only when the situation goes out of hand is when the centre's help is being sought, and this is exactly what we're seeing right now.
That's exactly correct. You know, this is all about crowd management. This is about anticipating as to how things will actually spiral out of control. You know, if the government had shown enough common sense in dealing, having dealt with similar sort of protests in the past, what they would have done is they would have dispersed the crowds that were starting to congregate 3-4 weeks back. Now, to impose Section 144 and to say that, you know, Panchkula has been turned into a fortress, no one from outside will be allowed to enter to cause any mischief, sounds hollow, because the people who have to cause mischief are already inside of Panchkula. You know, imagine the plight of the judge here, who's sitting inside the court premises, knowing full well that the entire court premises is being surrounded by about 1 lakh, 2 lakh charged mob, you know, which you do not know how it would react. You know, if the verdict were to go against Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh, it's very difficult to predict as to what these supporters would actually resort to. Will Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh then give himself up? Ideally, someone who's coming in for his verdict to be heard in a court should be escorted by the police, is what one would believe. But in this case, he has chosen to come in his own cavalcade. Earlier, it was being said that probably about 20 cars of his cavalcade would accompany him. The administration limited that to only 5, which will be allowed entrance into the Panchkula court premises. And now we are given to understand that only 2 cars have been allowed to come in.
Absolutely. Mohammed, thanks so much for joining us with a perspective on really what's happening on the ground in Panchkula as we speak. Those are live pictures for the viewers who are just joining in right now. A verdict is expected. It's a crucial verdict. The verdict pertains to a case dating back to the year 2002, which is connected with rape and criminal intimidation. And self-styled Godman is in the dock over here. This is very serious. The state administration is bracing up for what could be a very violent situation, something that we've seen in the past as well. But the Chief Minister, he's just come out on record in a video message. He's assured the people that everything is under control. Whatever the verdict might be, the situation can be handled. But on the ground, the situation looks to be very different. There are thousands and thousands of supporters who are armed, as we understand at this point in time, and who could really precipitate the situation, the turn of events, as the verdict is announced in a short while from now. It will be very, very crucial as to what the verdict will be, because the situation is expected to turn volatile. Even though precautionary measures have been taken, but the situation could turn violent, as we understand. Now, the state government wasn't prepared. There are reports which say that the state government was not prepared adequately to handle the kind of crowds. And why did it allow the Dera Sauda supporters to converge in Panchkula? Because that's where the tensions are at the moment. Those are Baba Ram Rahim's followers, as he is called. Baba Ram Rahim, a self-styled Godman, and he's inside the court as we speak. He had a huge cavalcade, but only 2 vehicles from his cavalcade have been allowed inside the court premises. All these supporters waiting outside eagerly as to what the verdict will be. Now, internet services have been suspended for at least 48 hours. We already know Section 144 has been imposed in several areas in Sri Ganganagar in Rajasthan in the light of the expected verdict in this rape case against Gurmeet Ram Rahim. On the left of your screen, you see those live pictures. This is outside the Panchkula court. Any moment that verdict can be expected. Hydraulic cranes have been deployed outside of the court. Helicopters have been deployed for surveillance. In fact, WION's Raghavendra Rao is live with us for more updates. Raghavendra, the verdict can be expected any moment now, and tensions are peaking, as we understand. Can you give us a sense of how big this verdict is?
Well, absolutely, Sana, and as we have been reporting for a while, Baba Gurmeet Ram Rahim has reached the Panchkula court. He's inside the courtroom as of now. We are expecting a judgment in this rape case to be pronounced very shortly. Now, the kind of build-up that this case has witnessed over the past week, this is unprecedented in a way that, rarely does one see thousands and thousands of people flooding a city like that in anticipation of a verdict. Now, the fact that the Dera Sauda, which is based in Sirsa, has immense following amongst several lower castes and Dalits. That is its core base, and these people, whenever Gurmeet Ram Rahim has been in any kind of trouble, these people have taken to the streets, and this has happened earlier as well when Ram Rahim used to be called to this court for hearings. Panchkula used to see almost a virtual lockdown every time the Baba would be asked to appear before the court, and one would see hundreds and hundreds of these followers. They are called premis by the Dera people, and these premis would descend upon Panchkula and bring it to a standstill. Now, Panchkula is located just adjacent to Chandigarh, which happens to be a union territory as well as the capital of both Punjab and Haryana. The fact that this particular case has brought two states to a standstill and a union territory as well, just goes on to show the kind of muscle flexing which is happening from the Dera side. And while Gurmeet Ram Rahim has appealed to his followers, those who have gathered in Panchkula, to go back to their respective places, these numbers are only growing.
Absolutely. And Raghavendra, what we're also hearing is that the verdict is being read out in the court in Panchkula. It's a special CBI judge who will be reading out that verdict. And it is, in fact, being read out as we speak at this point. So tension building up. One can only, just wait for that final verdict to come out. Depending on what happens, then it's going to be a situation that the state administration will have to handle. The past record really hasn't been that great, Raghavendra, when it comes to, protests happening. We saw it in the Jat agitation. We saw it when, confrontation with followers of Godman Rampal, in which 6 people were killed.
Absolutely, and these things, they are like blots as far as the Haryana government is concerned. Ever since a BJP government took charge there, Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar became the Chief Minister. They have battled with situations like these, be it dealing with Godman Rampal, or be it the Jat agitation. Dealing with law and order, maintaining law and order in crisis situations like these has been a challenge as far as the Haryana government is concerned. Even today, Haryana government has been accused of soft peddling on this matter. The Punjab and Haryana High Court even has directed the Haryana government that if need be, they should register cases and FIRs against these Dera followers who are congregating in Panchkula and other areas. Now, Haryana is finding itself on the back foot, but we must not forget the political angle to it. A lot of politicians are followers or seek support from the Dera during the political or the election season. The last time around, the Punjab, the last to last time, I stand corrected, when the Punjab elections happened in 2012, it was the Akali Dal which sought the blessings of the Dera, which they ended up getting eventually, which helped them win those elections.
Right.
And even the Haryana government, the Manohar Lal Khattar government, is said to have sought Dera's blessing in the run-up to the Haryana Assembly elections the last time. And that is the reason why it is being said that Haryana has been going soft on Dera and its followers. And these are accusations which the Haryana government needs to defend. But the fact that even the High Court has stepped into the matter and asked Haryana to do whatever it takes to prevent these people from creating mayhem on the streets of Panchkula and surrounding areas speaks volumes for the kind of reputation the Haryana government has generated for itself.
Absolutely. In fact, the pictures coming on your screens right now are the very latest pictures from the ground outside of the Panchkula court. This is the cavalcade of Ram Rahim, which headed inside the court premises just a short while ago. Remember, only 2 cars from his cavalcade were allowed inside of this court that's been set up, and the verdict is being read out as we speak. WION's political editor Kartikeya Sharma is also with me here in the studio. Raghavendra, do stand by. Kartikeya, this is a tense situation, but sadly, unfortunately, we've seen something like this before. Give us a sense of the importance and the significance of this verdict that we
this is an absolute failure of law and order in the state. There is nothing more to sum up. It's a case of a rape. It's an absolute failure in the sense, how can an administration allow so many people to come to the court? Not only Baba Ram Rahim of Dera Sacha Sauda has been asked to come, but the fact of the matter is that he has come with 200 cars, 180 cars. Out of them, half of the cars, they have been occupied with armed personal policemen. Then the High Court had to fume over it. So this is something which is unacceptable in democracy. And what is happening today is like the state succumbs to the pressure of, the hooligans. This is a criminal case. Only one person should have been there. The only people who should be allowed are lawyers. But then another issue here is that, look, in name of faith, the whole course of justice gets spoiled. And it's like issue of triple talaq. Triple talaq is gender justice. It's about women. It becomes a matter of honor for the community. This is about Ram Rahim. It's about a rape case. It's about a woman's body. And then what? It's become a matter of honor for the sect. So everyone comes on the street. So the issue, unfortunately, whether these are sects or religion, India somehow acquires, when it comes to justice, a communitarian view rather than keeping individual or a person or his body at the center of the discourse. What becomes very unique here is that suddenly it becomes about Dera Sacha Sauda. And Dera Sacha Sauda, and this is a question I would like to ask to Raghavendra, is also about unequal realities. In Punjab, most of the followers of Dera Sacha Sauda are called Mazhabi Sikhs. These are the people who, became part of Sikhism, but were not given their place in the Gurudwara. It's the problem of Dalit Sikhs in Uttar Pradesh and Eastern UP. Or it's about Dalit Muslims,
Right.
Despite converting to a religion where there is no inequality conceptually, still they get discriminated. So Raghavendra, isn't Dera Sacha Sauda also, I would say, symbolic of our Indian problems at societal level, where violence is structured and ingrained into various civilian processes?
Well, absolutely, Kartikeya, and the fact that the caste system is so deeply entrenched in our societal setup, the fact that scores of people, just because they happen to belong to a lower caste or a community which is backward, they do not find any acceptance anywhere, lures them to organizations and groupings like the Dera Sacha Sauda, who claim to be the saviors and who offer shelter and support to scores and scores of such people. I have been to this Dera in Sirsa a few times, and one comes across all kinds of people from all across the country living there, having come from as far as Assam, Bihar, Bengal. People take leaves from their jobs for a 1-month leave or a 3-month leave, and they just come to the Dera to do voluntary service. You ask them why are they there. They say that we are here to do voluntary work. We are here to support the Dera's activities. We must not forget the fact that the Dera, despite all the controversies surrounding it, has also been at the forefront in several humanitarian works. Their followers, their workers have been very, very active while responding to disaster situations. Now, Punjab and Haryana have witnessed flood situations at times during the past few years, and even before either of the states could mobilize its own state machinery, the Dera followers and workers were there to rescue people, to offer them food by conducting langars, and just help them out in their hour of need. So in a way, the Dera has built a very solid foundation for itself. It caters to people. It throws open its doors to people who are not accepted just because of their caste or community by a large section of the society. These people find a shelter in this Dera, and despite all the controversies surrounding Gurmeet Ram Rahim, it manages to hold on to this these kind of numbers which keep thronging this Dera.
Sana, there are certain details I would like to share to our viewers to give them an idea of what the journey of Dera Sacha Sauda has been. Dera Sacha Sauda was founded by Shah Mastana of Baluchistan, now in Pakistan, in 1948. Now, Shah Satnam succeeded Mastana and remained head from 1948 till 1960. It was Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh who took charge in 1990 at the age of 23, and he was actually found by Shah Satnam Mastana, something which is very akin to Buddhism, where you say the way the next successor would be. So that's how he was located, or he was found. But he has appointed his own son as his successor.
Right.
Not only he has appointed his own son as successor, there has been a CBI raid, CBI charge sheet, and his assets have risen at an exponential rate of 20%. So, when we talk about Dera Sacha Sauda, we have to understand that you have spiritual leaders, you have certain leaders who talk about spirituality, but they're married to the bling. And then there are people who are spiritual. But I think what has happened here is that Mr. Ram Rahim claims to be a spiritual leader, but is married to the bling, the glamour, the films, the music.
Right. That's interesting, because there have been so many self-styled, Godmen that the country has seen, and most of them have had controversies. They've been mired in controversy, whether it be cases of sexual assault, in the case of Asaram Bapu as well, which is not too long back. Then there were others who were involved in criminal activities. Karthikeya, this is certainly not the first case, and sadly, unfortunately, won't be the last. What is it in this country that people are so fascinated with the self-styled Godmen, even though they don't have a clean slate, they don't have a clean record?
I think the bigger problem here is that it's about the way society has been formed. Instead of these people think that's an injustice, and what will happen? If today the firing takes place, some people will lose their lives. Some people might be genuinely aggrieved, but it depends on. It should have been the responsibility of Mr. Khattar or other Chief Minister, Mr. Amrinder Singh, to ensure that so many people are not there. But the fact of the matter is that so many people have assembled there just goes on to show that the planning at the basic level has not taken place, and this should be a cause of great concern. And it's not about 100, 200, 300 people. You look at the crowd, it's more than 60,000 people. Tomorrow he's taken to the jail. You expect, then
so
these 60,000 people.
No lessons being learned from the Jat agitation, no lessons being learned from the Rampal case in the past.
Absolutely.
This is a repeat.
Absolutely. See, agitation, if they are peaceful, is okay. But this doesn't look like a peaceful agitation. It looks like an agitation which will agitate the other people also to join them. It really doesn't look peaceful. And what is even more, Raghvendra, you have worked in Chandigarh. Tell me, is that so difficult to isolate Chandigarh, Panchkula and Mohali districts if you know that this is going to happen?
These people have descended in Panchkula. This is not new. Because, and the government of Haryana in particular has known this in the past, because whenever this case used to be heard in the Panchkula court earlier, these Dera supporters, these premis would descend upon Panchkula in large numbers. They would camp in open grounds and other open spaces in Panchkula and would almost bring life to a standstill in Panchkula. Now, the fact that Panchkula is so close to Chandigarh, almost adjacent to Chandigarh, has a direct bearing on the fact that the Union Territory of Chandigarh, also the capital of Punjab and Haryana, is going to be directly affected, because there is almost a lockdown-like situation in Chandigarh, Panchkula and Mohali right now. Schools have been closed, holiday has been declared for most establishments, and all the essential services are suffering because of this anticipated trouble which is brewing in Panchkula in wake of this case. The fact that these people, when they were trickling into Panchkula and nobody was able to either check them or stop them from descending there in large numbers, I think that is where the failure lies, because it isn't as if it has happened for the first time that hundreds or thousands of people have come to Panchkula in support of the Dera chief. They have done that in the past as well. But yes, you have a case, you have a critical rape case judgment slated for today. I think the governments should have anticipated, the Haryana government in particular, it should have anticipated trouble and should have made some efforts to at least regulate or control the entry of these people into Panchkula. Had these thousands and thousands of people not congregated in Panchkula, we would not be seeing the situation we are seeing right now.
All right, just waiting for the...
Would not be seeing the situation we are seeing right now.
All right, just waiting for the verdict. I believe the verdict will be out any moment now. There is tension in the air, Karthikeya, at this point.
Oh, very soon, Sana, because there's commotion in, it's always the commotion in the newsroom as well,
That's right.
We are talking about the court. As we take you along in this program with my colleague Sana and Raghvendra and Mohammad Saleh, our correspondents are all over Rajasthan, Punjab, reporting and giving you the direct visuals. But what you see today is a play of justice at a levels of failure of law and order machinery, a communitarian sense of justice, law at loggerheads with the sense of community, and most important of all, the verdict is being read in the court. Ram Rahim is standing there. All the people who were there with him are not inside the court as per the law.
Right.
Only those who have been called who are directly associated with the case. And very soon the verdict will be out. And Sana, let me tell you, more than the verdict, the way government and the way security agencies deal with the consequence of the verdict will decide how big cases will be dealt in future. It is not about whether he gets convicted or not. That's law. That's a rape case. But the way a situation like these are being handled will be very, very important, Sana.
Absolutely. The security forces have their tasks cut out. They are, of course, standing by for any eventuality. The army has been called in. The situation completely volatile, very, very sensitive at this point in time. Any moment the verdict will be out. We can literally feel the tension in the air, because there is, as you mentioned, a lot of commotion in the newsroom as well, because the verdict will be out any moment. And those are scenes on your screens right now where Panchkula is in a virtual lockdown. Security forces are spread across, especially outside the court premises. These are the live visuals, I'm being told, that are coming to us from Panchkula. Sadly, the situation could get out of hand, even though the security
and I think the breaking news has come in. The breaking news has come in. It has been put in the system. Ram Rahim has been found guilty.
All right.
To our viewers, Ram Rahim has been found guilty. The court has said. Now, once the court says guilty, you have to go in for the quantum of punishment. So Ram Rahim has been found guilty. Let me break this news for the viewers of the WION, that Ram Rahim, the head of the Dera Sacha Sauda, has been found guilty, and that's the news which we are breaking for our viewers. Sana, Raghavendra, if you can hear me, he has been found guilty. And let me again take my viewers on this issue. Dera Sacha Sauda was founded by Shah Mastan of Baluchistan in 1948. He was succeeded by Shah Mastan. Ram Rahim became the Dera chief in 1990. There was a CBI inquiry. There were cases on misappropriation. And the important thing is, in 2002, then Prime Minister Vajpayee got an anonymous letter alleging sexual harassment of sadhvis inside Sirsa Dera, Right. It is then the things went completely out of control. So the important thing to break right now for the viewers is, in the Godman, Ram Rahim has been found guilty by the court. It's a 15-year-old rape case, and the important thing is that people should treat this case as about injustice. It's about a crime against a woman rather than about sense of honor for a community. This case is about a woman, crime on a woman's body rather than honor of Dera Sacha Sauda. So he has been found guilty. There will be a quantum punishment. Raghavendra, tell me, in such cases, when we talk about quantum of punishment, what are we looking at? 10 years? 15 years? 20 years?
I think to begin with, if he is convicted for rape, he could be staring at imprisonment for 7 years to begin with. But yes, the quantum can get high if more charges in addition to rape are also proven inside the court. So it remains to be seen what exactly the judgment has said. What all offences has he been found guilty for? In case there are other related offences along with rape, the sentence could go as high as 10 years.
All right.
So, okay. Sana, you wanted to come in, please.
Just putting things in perspective for our viewers. Now, these are scenes coming to us. These are the supporters. They burst out in tears at this point in time. But sadly, this is not just the reality. This is half of the reality. The other half is that we're bracing for situation which is violent, and we've seen it in the past. Mohammed Saleh, give us a sense of how prepared is the state government, or how unprepared is it at this point in time, because this is an adverse verdict, and in all probability we will see a reaction, a violent reaction perhaps, from the supporters of Gurmeet Ram Rahim.
Correct, like we've been talking about, Sana, the entire court premises has been surrounded essentially by this armed militia who happen to be the supporters of Gurmeet Ram Rahim, saying he has been found guilty, he has been convicted of this crime, and also the quantum of punishment will be announced on the 28th of August. That is in 3 days from now. So from today till the 28th of August, this is an extremely volatile situation. We do not quite know as to what will happen, because the government has allowed the situation to simmer so far, where for the last 3-4 weeks, almost about 1 lakh people have been allowed to congregate in Panchkula. We're given to understand that there are 2 stadiums that are filled with the supporters of the Dera Sacha Sauda chief, and this is not going to be an easy situation to resolve. Now, the Guru Ram Rahim, will he be taken to a prison now? He's been convicted. Will he be allowed to even go back to his ashram in Sirsa? This is the next big headache which the security forces will have to contend with, because the first
Saleh, yes, thank you, Saleh. I'll just come back to you to explain. Once the person has been found guilty, he is taken directly under the police custody. Now, the court can decide. The court can decide to send him to jail directly, to send him to custody directly. I have seen it when there was a case of national security against sitting MP Varun Gandhi. Varun Gandhi from a local court in Pilibhit was sent directly to the local jail, and there was a riot there, Mohammed. So Mr. Ram Rahim doesn't go anywhere. He goes to jail directly. Now it depends when he goes to the jail, whether he gets a 7-year sentence, whether he gets a 10-year sentence. On this, my colleague Sana has some details in terms of the news on sentencing which is coming out. Sana.
Absolutely. We don't know. These are unconfirmed reports. We're hearing that Gurmeet Ram Rahim is being sent to 7 years in jail. But I repeat, this is unconfirmed news. And we also don't know, Karthik, at this point, whether Gurmeet Ram Rahim has been convicted only of rape, only of criminal intimidation, which were the charges against him, 2 charges, or both. So the quantum of punishment will also depend on the charges that the court has slapped or convicted Gurmeet Ram Rahim of. I think Raghavendra can throw some light on what are we looking at. Do we have any more details of if he is convicted of rape and criminal intimidation, or both?
Those details are still being awaited, Sana, and but yes, unconfirmed reports are suggesting that as far as the rape charges are concerned, he has been convicted with a 7-year term in jail, and this will be rigorous imprisonment for 7 years. As far as the criminal intimidation part is concerned, we are yet to get the exact details from the courts, but yes, those details could be trickling in any moment now.
But Sana, it's not that he's the first Baba who will be going to jail.
That's right.
There have been many Godmans like that, and please, from WION, with great respect and responsibility, I say when I use the word Baba, it is not about people who are spiritual. It is about people who sell spirituality in name of their own merchandise, whether it's in terms of money, or it's in terms of power, or it's in terms of pelf, or it's in terms of acquiring an organization or wealth. So the issue here is that he will not be the first person. Murari Bapu has, if you look at the case of Murari Bapu, it has run for more than 6-7 years. And initially people had taken it as a shock, but when the investigative agencies found out the truth, ultimately it came out. He indeed was involved, Sana.
Right.
So, this is also about the way a nation implements a law. It is also about the way civil society cooperates with it. There is a heated debate on social media, in Twitter, Facebook, that what has happened to the state of condition in Haryana and Punjab, that the whole states have been locked down. It's like a banana republic. One rape case on a person and children can't go to school, government offices are closed, army has been deployed, schools have been closed, public institutions have been closed, Section 144 has been imposed. So are we talking about an advanced democracy? India at 70 could have and should have done better. But then I think the important thing here is that the justice has been served. Justice has been done. He is going to be behind the bars. And important thing, Sana, fundamentally is, this is not about Dera Sacha Sauda, and we again from WION say that again and again. This is not about the faith of the devotees. It is about crime against a woman, her justice, her letter, and ultimately the state delivering it for her. And that's where the story is.
Absolutely. No matter the kind of influence Ram Rahim wields among his lakhs and lakhs of supporters, no matter his popularity, no matter his stature, he has been convicted by the court in Panchkula. Now, for our viewers, he is facing 2 charges. Rape under Section 376 and criminal intimidation, that's Section 506 of the Indian Penal Code. We do not know if he is convicted only of rape. Let's also point out that if he is convicted just of rape, if the charge is just that, that could mean a jail term of at least 7 years, which is what some of the unconfirmed reports are saying. If he gets convicted only for criminal intimidation, that means a jail sentence of up to 2 years, including a fine, and the maximum punishment can go up to 3 years. And if he's convicted of both, then that would imply a sentence of 7 years and 2 years, which means 9 years effectively. So we just have to wait and watch what is it that Gurmeet Ram Rahim is convicted of. But Saleh, quickly coming back to you, give us a sense of, what is expected next. We've seen it in the past. Thousands of supporters, they get angry, then violence erupts, people die. We've seen it all in the past, even after the Chief Minister has assured everybody that the situation is under control. One can, nothing can be left to chance, really.
That's exactly correct. Nothing can be left to chance. And like Karthikeya was here pointing out, justice has been served. The fact of the matter is, despite, this person being a very popular Godman, despite the number of people who may have been his supporters, the fact of the matter is the criminal justice system, despite being slow, after a span of about 10 years and 15 years from the time that this crime was first reported, has finally delivered justice for this woman. Now, one can talk about what will happen from here. The fact of the matter is Ram Rahim will go to prison, but the modalities of how it will be worked out are going to be very interesting, because, what we have are these 1 lakh plus supporters who are camping in and around the Panchkula prison. It's not going to be easy for the police to actually battle it out. Will now Baba Ram Rahim surrender? Will he appeal for calm? Will he say that, look, for justice to be served, it is important that I now go to prison? Now, this remains to be seen, because generally in past, these kind of unscrupulous Babas, we have to make a distinction here, have always tried to evade law. Now, at this point of time, it is a very volatile situation. The verdict has just come out where Baba Ram Rahim has been found guilty, and he will have to be taken to prison. Now, like you were saying, the details of the verdict are yet to come out. Has he been convicted just in the case of rape, or is it also in the case of criminal intimidation, which would amount to a total prison sentence of about 9 years? But this is yet another verdict in the last, past 1 week, which restores the faith which people have in our judiciary, that no matter how strong an individual is, no matter how charismatic a leader one may be, no matter what kind of political backing that this person has, he can be convicted in a court of law. It is now up to the executive to ensure that this justice is now implemented.
Saleh, it's not that he's the first Godman to hear the true tune of the Indian law. There have been a lot of Babas, who have faced music and actually faced the might of the Indian state also. He's not the first, and he will not be the last. For example, Asaram Bapu, or for example, Swami Nityanand. I can go on and on and on about the controversial Babas, or even Rajneesh got very, very controversial, at a point of time. Though there was nothing, the criminality did not exist. The criminality in the case which acquired criminal tone was in the United States of America, where people died after eating some food, and there was a case of negligence on him. So Chandra Swami, I can just go on and on. But the issue is, it's time when people who acquire wealth and fuse spirituality should see that the law will not distinguish or discriminate between people. In a republic, all men and women born under this country are treated equal. No one is above law, whether he is a priest or an imam or a sadhu baba or a temple priest. Everyone is equal before the law. And I think the answer to the queries of the critics associated with it should be the law does not discriminate. And here no discrimination has taken place. The case took its own journey. I think it lasted for more than 15 years, 14 years.
That's a long time.
And that's a very long time. And then, he has been found guilty. It is incumbent on the governments of the day, both Punjab and Haryana to ensure it does not foment social trouble, because the problem is, and I will use the word problem, or we can use the word, the axis of the issue is that the people associated with the Dera are themselves structurally exploited by society. Most of them are Mazhabi Sikhs, or whom we call the backward Sikhs. So for it to acquire any sense of violence will acquire a contour of forward work versus backward, which will even be more worse. But Raghavendra, coming to you, if you're there with me, I think very soon I'll be joined by my colleague Raghavendra. But this question is to you, Sana.
Right.
When we talk about these sects, and ultimately if you look into the way people organize these sects, most of them are those people who feel that they have been disempowered by the formal structures of state and society.
Absolutely.
But in this case, if a justice is perceived by a group of people as injustice, then I think it's a failure of law and order of the state. What is your opinion? Could this have been averted?
Definitely. In fact, these followers of all these self-styled godmen, they need validation. I think that's what they need, and to an extent they get that. They get the sense of false belief that this godman has brought about a difference in the way they're perceived in the society, and they feel that they have some extra spiritual powers with them, which really lures them, and it turns into blind faith, really. At the end of it, the people right now, his supporters, they are looking at it, as you correctly pointed out, injustice that's being done. You saw those pictures of followers, they are crying at this point in time, and it could turn violent, Karthike, because that's what we're worried about. And these people, they have this deep entrenched belief that wrong is being done to somebody who they consider a god, and they will go to any extent to see that nothing bad happens to their leader, and that's where the trouble comes in. And as a question to, could this have been averted? Yes, plenty of cases in the recent past. You had the Rampal verdict a short while ago, when there was tension, 6 people were killed then you had the Jat agitation, 30 people
a bit of an update for you.
Right.
Ram Rahim has been taken under custody.
Okay.
The court has directed the Godman into custody. So once the delivery of the order is over, Baba will straight away move to the jail.
Right. But we still don't know. We are anticipating he'll be given a 7-year jail term, which is...
I think there's a couple of news coming in.
Right.
For some, it is being reported that 28th of August might be the day when they'll announce the quantum of punishment.
Right.
So they will, they have decided to take it into 2 parts. Generally, it happens in the cases of terror where you find a set of people guilty and then go in for detailed quantum.
That's right.
But who knows what will happen here. But the hearing, which I am coming to know, is being adjourned for 4 p.m. I think the court has taken some sort of a recess also. So the news is slightly conflicting, but and I think we will, we'll stick our neck only to that point, that Ram Rahim has been found guilty by the court, and he has been taken under custody.
Raghavendra is also back with us. Raghavendra, it's interesting. We don't know the quantum of punishment. There is a lot of speculation. Is it 7 years? Because if he is convicted under Section 376 of the Indian Penal Code, that is rape, it's 7 years and can be extended to imprisonment for life. Now, the quantum of punishment, depending how big is it, and for how long a duration is it, that will also have a huge impact on the way Ram Rahim's followers react, isn't it?
Absolutely, Sana. And the fact that he has been convicted for rape, now that's a given now, and the court has said that the quantum will be pronounced on the 28th of August, that is Monday, just a couple of days from now. Now, if he's convicted only for rape, yes, he stares at a imprisonment jail term for 7 years, but if he's also convicted for the criminal intimidation part, the quantum could go up to 10 years or maybe even 14. That depends on the kind of view the court takes about the seriousness of those charges, the kind of evidence that was presented before it during the trial. But yes, either ways, I mean, even if it is for 7 years or if it is for a longer term, the followers who have been gathering in Panchkula and who have been gathering all across Haryana and Punjab, there is a large section amongst these followers which will not take to this judgment very kindly. In fact, what we have witnessed over the past 3-4 days is nothing short of muscle flexing on part of the Dera followers. I mean, these kind of volumes of people, these kind of numbers, gathering in a township like Panchkula, where court has to pronounce a verdict. These are, pressure tactics. These are muscle flexing tactics. And if this was the reaction of the Dera and its followers just to the run-up to the hearing or to the D-date, to the verdict, one can expect some degree of law and order trouble in days and weeks to come, particularly after 28th of August, when the actual quantum is pronounced.
Raghavendra, before I come back to you, the details have come in. There's a now total blackout in Haryana after the conviction, and Dera Sacha Sauda chief Gurmeet Ram Rahim has been taken into protective custody by army.
That's right.
So the protective custody is by army. Police is ready with pellet guns near the court if situation goes out of hand.
Right.
Army convoy has moved around the CBI court premises in Panchkula. Raghavendra has reported there, he has worked there. And security forces are dispersing the crowd by 50 to 60,000, Raghavendra. 60,000 Dera supporters. And Dera Sacha Sauda chief Gurmeet Ram Rahim has been, will be in the judicial custody till August 28th. So, Sana, the punishment is on 28th.
Right.
And he is under judicial custody.
In fact, Karthike, we've sort of coming to piece together a timeline of events over here. It's 3:20 right now. About a few minutes ago, we are hearing that he is being taken to Chandi Mandir military station, which is in Panchkula, and rapid action force personnel. They are moving around the court premises with tear gas shells, and the headquarters of the Dera Sacha Sauda in Sirsa, they have been completely cordoned off, and there is, as you mentioned, a total blackout in Haryana at this point in time. And we're also hearing, that there were plans to keep the verdict inside, not to report it for about 45 minutes to an hour, but it just kind of came out
Raghavendra, I think the biggest, I would say, challenge for the administration was not about the preparation. I think for the biggest challenge of the administration will be about dispersing the crowd. That's where the challenge lies. So is it possible in the Panchkula, where you have also to disperse 50-70,000 people who have assembled there? And I really want to know from you, how is it possible for police to allow so many people continuously? It's not a trickle. They came in waves in past 48 hours, and they came with the tents, they came with pillows, they came with rugs, and they occupied the streets, they occupied the lawns, they occupied the gardens, they occupied the stadium, they occupied the whole city. How is that possible, Raghavendra?
That is what is so inexplicable, Karthike, and that is what we touched upon a while ago. I think the greatest failure of the Haryana government, as far as this particular instance is concerned, is that despite knowing that this is going to happen, since it has happened in the past, every time Ram Rahim used to turn up for a hearing in Panchkula, the place would, virtually lock down, because all these supporters would throng there in thousands, and, they would just occupy all the public spaces, all the parks, all the open areas in Panchkula, and would camp there till the hearing was over. In fact, that was the reason that a special exemption was granted to Ram Rahim, and he was being made to appear before the Panchkula court through video conferencing from a Sirsa court, just to prevent this particular thing of, all these supporters thronging Panchkula and bringing life to a standstill there. So even this particular instance, when the government knew that there is a date on which a verdict in a sensitive rape case has to be delivered, sheer lack of anticipation, I would say. I mean, they knew this was coming, and the fact that these followers kept trickling into Panchkula all through these days without nobody stopping them. I mean, nobody even made an attempt to ask them why they were here and what were they planning to do by being in Panchkula. The manner in which this was allowed to happen, the allegations against the Haryana government that it has gone soft on Dera supporters, the fact, allegations that the Haryana government had the support of the Dera, the BJP had the support of the Dera when it contested the last elections in the state. The Dera helped them win those elections. Those allegations, it'll be very difficult for the Haryana government to give answers now, because the manner in which this entire episode has progressed over the past couple of days.
Raghvin, can you describe it for the viewers, For you, this is, as back of your mind. How far is Chandi Mandir military station in Panchkula? And in your opinion, how much time will the police take to take him off the premises of the court and take him to the Chandi Mandir military station? And why Chandi Mandir military station?
Well, the Chandi Mandir military station, from where the court is located, is hardly a 10 minutes drive. That too, in case the route is cordoned off, it could be even lesser. It's very, very, very close to the area where the court is located. It should not take Gurmeet Ram Rahim or the police convoy to reach the Chandi Mandir cantonment area in 10 minutes, maximum 15, not more than that. Yes, it is a little surprising, because if he has been, remanded into judicial custody, ideally he should have been sent to a court, rather a jail in Ambala, because that is what the normal procedure is. Whenever a convict is sentenced or is remanded to judicial custody, he goes to the jail which is located in Ambala, since Panchkula does not have a jail of its own. So yes, it's a little surprising, but I think one of the reasons why he's being sent to a cantonment area, a military area, is to prevent trouble. Because if he were to be sent to a civilian area or to a jail in, say, Ambala...
Are you saying, Raghvendra, that there is a potential, there is a chance of a civilian area to be overtaken by the supporters of Dera Sacha Sauda? Are you saying that anything less than military to hold Baba Ram Rahim in the town of Panchkula will not work?
Well, I would not say any civilian area would be taken over by the supporters of Dera Sacha Sauda, but yes, if he were to be moved to, say, a jail in Ambala, yes, there is a definite chance of trouble erupting in Ambala. The situation is already volatile in Panchkula and Chandigarh and Mohali, and if he were now to be sent to a jail, also Ambala is a little distance away, almost 40 kilometers from Panchkula. It would take almost an hour for him to reach there. There is a route involved. There could be trouble en route. There could be trouble once he reaches Ambala. My sense is that if he is being sent to Chandi Mandir cantonment area, it is with only the sole purpose of keeping him in a military area where there is army, there is a great military presence, so as to nobody can get into that cantonment area without a proper screening kind of a process. You cannot get into through those gates without showing an ID card. So none of these Dera supporters will be able to go into the Chandi Mandir cantonment area, and I think that could be the probable rationale behind sending him there.
And it's a huge cantonment, so you really don't know where he is being kept, It's like a mini city there, in a jail, in which ward he is, and you can always lay siege to the jail. I remember it was a small jail in Pilibhit, but the way the supporters of Varun Gandhi tried to, come near the premise, I was there caught between the police and the supporters. You can very easily take over jails in smaller towns or smaller cities, because you can see them from far. You know that there are two walls. You know the periphery of the place. Right. But no one will take that risk when it comes to army. That's very important.
Absolutely, and it's important to also point out the way the state administration has really handled this. We are also hearing that crowds have started to be dispersed. All his supporters, they are being dispersed. So justice delayed, certainly not justice denied in this case. Gurmeet Ram Rahim has left the court premises to be taken into an army area, to be kept in a jail in Chandi Mandir. The mighty Godman has been judged a rapist. On that note, taking a very short break, we'll be on top of all the developments that are taking place in Panchkula. Be right back.